We're in Algebra 1, Lesson 5-7. Today's date is January 18th. It is a Friday. Yesterday was our snow day. All right, so if you missed yesterday's lesson, that's going to be okay. You can make that up. Today isn't heavily dependent on yesterday's lesson, although it does build off of it a little bit. All right, so let's talk about the three forms. We learned two new forms yesterday. Let's talk about them again. The slope-intercept, we know that one. We've been playing with it for a few weeks now. Slope-intercept form, and I guess I need to hand these out. Cohen, can you help me out? Participation cards are coming out now. Slope-intercept form. What is that, Julian? Ooh, that's slope. Good attempt, and I'll make sure to give you your XP still. Where are you, Julian? There you are. All right, what is slope-intercept form, Jennifer? Y equals mx plus b. Thank you, Jennifer. And you can turn in your card immediately once you get it. All right, mx plus b, and we know that m is the what? Quiet raised hand. M is the... Julian, slope. You can turn in your card, Julian. It is indeed slope. And B, what is B? Josie.
Y-intercept.
That is the y-intercept. Thank you, Josie. That is the y-intercept. And that's where we get the name, right? So this name of this equation is slope-intercept form because I have a slope and an intercept. I mean, it's the name that makes the most sense, right? Slope-intercept form. So point slope form, let's see if anyone can remember this one. This was brand new yesterday. Point slope form. Jose, go for it.
Y minus y1 equals m parentheses x minus x1.
Oh my gosh, good memory, Jose. Yes, that is indeed point slope form. Jose, go ahead and turn in your card. Point slope form, and again, we have the same thing. We have slope right here, right here. M is always slope whenever we're looking at linear equations. And instead of having a y-intercept, instead of having a b, we now have an x1 and a y1. Those two represent a point. The point is x1, comma, y1. That was the point that I was looking at, and that's where it came from. All right. This is seeming familiar. We watched the video yesterday. We're good. Okay, then standard form. Does anyone remember that one? Sergio. Oh, plus b, y is equal to c. Yes, thank you, Sergio. You can turn in your card. That is indeed standard form, and that's the one that we are really going to be playing with today because today's title is converting everything to standard form. So for the homework tonight and for the lesson today, I'm going to be giving you slope-intercept form, point slope form, and I want you to convert either one of these to standard form. So that means we are trying to get to this form where we have just a number on the right and x's and y's on the left-hand side. The key things here are that a, b, and c, and let's write this down as well. I know it's on the notes yesterday. A, b, and c are whole numbers. What's the word that I used yesterday for the notes? Whole numbers. Someone that has their card still. Jessica. Integers, yes, integers. Integers is another name for whole numbers. So 1 is a whole number, 3 is a whole number, 1.5 is not a whole number. That has a decimal. So it has to be a whole number. And it can't be a fraction either. So thank you, Jessica. So make sure that A, B, and C are all integers. Okay, so let's move down here. So any three of these forms can be turned into the other. That means slope-intercept can turn into point-slope. Point-slope can turn into slope-intercept. Slope-intercept can turn into standard. Standard can be turned into point-slope. These are all interchangeable as long as we know how to do the correct mathematical operations. So I'm going to give you point-slope form. Here it is. I have y minus y1 equals negative 1/3 times the quantity of x plus 9. Let's convert it to, I don't know, I'm feeling point-slope form. Or wait, it's already point-slope. Let's convert it to slope-intercept form. I want it to be in this form where I have y on the left by itself. Notice that there's this negative 1, so it's not by itself yet. And then it's going to be a number in front of an x plus a number. So how am I going to get this into slope-intercept form? Slope-intercept form. Any ideas? And it's fine if you don't. I know there's a few ideas. Sergio, you want to go for it? Or Andres, do you have your card still?
Will- Yeah.
Yeah, go for it.
Will you get XP even if I get it wrong?
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Okay. So do I get 2 XP?
You did, yeah.
Add 1.
Add 1 on both sides. There it is, yeah. So add 1 on both sides. +1, +1. Thank you, Andres. You are correct, because by doing that, we're getting y by itself. Notice that the slope-intercept form is y by itself. So when we add 1, it gets rid of this 1, and now the y is by itself. Y is by itself, and it's equal to, and I still have this -1/3 times the quantity of x plus 9. That stayed the same. There's nothing new there, and additionally, a +1. All right. Well, there are no parentheses in slope-intercept form. Slope-intercept form is just a number in front of an x and a number. Now I have parentheses. So how am I going to get rid of those parentheses? Someone that still has their card, I want to hear from you if possible, and if not, I can call in someone new. These are hard questions. Cohen.
Distribute the 1/3.
Distribute the
-1/3.
yes. Can you do that for us?
Sure.
So it's going to be y is equal to,
-1/3 x.
9/3. And then we still have our +1. Is it a plus or a minus here?
Minus.
Minus. All right, yeah, you did it correctly. Thank you, Cohen. Everyone write it down. We have distributed the -1/3 into each of these terms. All right, we're almost there. We have a number in front of the x and a number, but another number. We have to combine those two numbers, and then we have slope-intercept form. So combine those two numbers, which means I have to reduce this fraction and then add it to the 1. Who can help me do that? Quiet raised hand that hasn't participated yet today. How do I reduce this -9/3 and then add 1? You have to do 2 steps for me. Who's going to do it? And if someone doesn't participate, I'm going to cold call on you. This is just a mathematical operation. Go for it, Monse. Yeah, divide the top and bottom by 3. So when I divide the top by 3, you get... Divide the bottom by 3, you get... Okay, so this turns into a -3 over 1, which is just -3. So -3 plus 1, Monse? -2, there it is. So we have simplified all of this into a -2. And I'm going to rewrite this -1/3 x. There's the -2. Y is equal to, I have it now in slope-intercept form. Thank you, Monse. So that's one way that we can turn it into slope-intercept form. So now I'm going to give you slope-intercept form, and I want to write it in standard form. This is the first example where I'm going to, well, I guess it's technically the second example because we kind of did one already. How am I going to turn this into standard form? So notice that standard form, again, has x and y on the left-hand side and just a number on the right-hand side. And all of these numbers are whole numbers. They're all integers. So what am I going to do? First step. There are 5 different first steps that you can do. All of them are correct. And how many cards do I have so far? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there are 4 cards still out there. Eder?
+4 on both sides.
All right, we could do that. So if I add 4 on both sides, that would get a number on the left-hand side, right? The problem with that is that we want our number to stay on the right-hand side. So it was a good attempt, but I think we're going to leave that number on the right-hand side and move something else. Is there something, Eder, that you see on the right-hand side that should be on the left-hand side aside from that 4?
2/3.
2/3 x, yeah. So how am I going to move that 2/3 x to the left-hand side? What am I going to do to both sides? So we can just, if this is a term that's being added to both sides, we can just do the inverse operation of add. Inverse of add is just to
Subtract.
yeah, so we're going to subtract it from both sides. -2/3 x on both sides. Thank you, Eder. You can turn in your card. -2/3 x on both sides. we have now moved this term over to the left-hand side, which is what we wanted to do because we want both x and y on the left-hand side. X and y on the left-hand side. All right, so by doing that, that gets rid of this 2/3 x, and I'm left with y minus 2/3 x is equal to -4. All right, we're almost there. We have x and y on the left-hand side. I guess we can switch those. That's an easy step. But the thing I want to work on now is how do I get rid of this 2/3? Well, I can't get rid of it, but I need to turn it into an integer, a whole number. Right now it's a fraction. Are there any ideas for how to get rid of this fraction? And I'll give you this one because I don't think we've seen this before. Right now, this 2 is being divided by 3. So if I go ahead and say each of these 3 terms, this term, this term, this term, I want to multiply each of those by 3. That's a valid mathematical operation. As long as I do the same thing to everything, which is really the same thing to both sides, that's valid. You're allowed to do that in math. So I'm going to multiply this y by 3. I'm going to multiply this 2/3 x by 3. I'm going to multiply this -4 by 3. I'm allowed to multiply every single thing by 3, and I chose 3 because we were being divided by 3. Whatever that denominator is, whatever that bottom number is, multiply every single term by that bottom term. That will get rid of a fraction. All right, so after I multiply everything by 3, I get 3y. So let's do this in green now. I get 3y, and then if I have a 3 on the top and a 3 on the bottom, they cancel each other out. This is the shortcut. If you don't like doing this, you could have just said -2 times 3 is 6. 6 divided by 3 is 2. Or you could just say the shortcut is top and bottom, they cancel out, and I'm left with a -2x. And that is equal to -4 times 3, which is a -12. That is the hardest step. Let me scroll down so you can see it. That is the hardest step when we're converting to standard form, is to get rid of that fraction. And again, the way we get rid of it is to multiply every single term by that bottom number. All right, we're almost there. We have one thing that we need to change because it goes x then y. So can someone quietly raise their hand? There's one of 3 people that still have their cards out there. Can someone quietly raise their hand? What is the final way that we write this for standard form? It's an easy question. Who still has their card? Wait, it should only be one person that has the card. Oh yeah, because, yeah, so Gunnar, this is you.
Gunnar. Hi, Gunnar.
Thank you.
Hi, Gunnar. Hi.
So in order to be standard form, it goes x, then y, then number. However, we have a y, then x, then number. So how am I going to write this to have my final answer? There it is. Thank you, Gunnar. Turn in your participation card. Box it. That's our final answer. We have got it into standard form. All right, so everyone has participated, and Fernando has not? Oh, Fernando. All right. All right, Fernando, you're doing the next one. What was my first step? It's the same type of problem where I gave you it in slope-intercept form. You can choose any step that you want to. You can move an x, or you can get rid of the 9. Either one of those is a proper first step. You tell me what to do, Fernando.
Plus 4/9 x on both sides.
Plus 4/9 x on both sides of the equal sign, so plus 4/9 x. That will cancel out. And I'm going to put the x first this time so I don't have to switch it later. So it's going to say 4/9 x plus y is equal to, those canceled out, I just have a 2. All right, Fernando, you're in. Thank you. All right, my next step. Anyone can do this one. Andres.
Multiply 9 by everything.
Yeah, every single term multiply by 9. Why did you multiply by 9 and not 4 or 5?
Dividing by 9.
Yeah, it's that bottom number, exactly. All right, so Andres, you got your XP. Did I give it to you yet? No. All right. And someone new, tell me what my final answer is going to look like. Fernando.
4x plus 9y equals 18.
Done. There it is. Box it. That 9, and just to make sure that everyone was able to follow the work here, 9 and 9 cancel each other out, leaving the 4. All right, we have a different type of problem. This is our final problem before we work on the homework. Now I gave you point slope form. Point slope form, and I need to write that in standard form. Notice that standard form, all the way back up here, doesn't have any parentheses in it. And x and y are still on the left. Oh gosh, it's a Friday. Let's do this one really quick. What am I going to do? Rapid fire. Jose, distribute the negative 2. Good. All right, do that for us. Plus 10, yeah. Negative times a negative is a positive. I still have y plus 3 on the left-hand side. And I have to do 2 more things. Who wants to do one of them? I have to get both x and y's on the left, all the numbers on the right. Jose, go again. Plus 2x on both sides. Plus 2x on both sides. That cancels out. I now have 2x plus y plus 3 is equal to 10. All right, we got all of our x's and y's on the left-hand side. Next step is to Monse. Subtract 3 on both sides. So we get 2x plus y is equal to 7. Final answer, box it. Oops. All right, that concludes our notes. Jose got double there, and Monse got her XP as well. Oh, that's, I'll just give you 30, because I misclicked 30. And Monse, perfect. All right, so write your summaries, and I think we're basically out of here once you finish your summary. I'm going to make sure to assign the assignment on Khan Academy. So just as a review, notes from yesterday are due on Monday. Both homework assignments, in case you didn't do them from yesterday, are due tomorrow, are due on Monday. So get all of the homework assignments that are assigned on Khan Academy due by Monday.